welcome back to my channel. In this video I'd like to share something different. This is the Tresse Royale recipe that I have for you guys. It's a fancy dish normally served at weddings or Christmas parties, and I'd like to share it with you. So for the recipe we have 2 cups of flour, 1 stick of butter, I have 2/3 cup of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 egg yolk. Now I didn't use all my water, but I have 2/3 of it just in case I needed all of it. So in my mixer I'm going to be adding the flour with the stick of butter. I had cut it some before I added to my flour, just so when I'm getting ready to dissolve it, it could dissolve better. I'm adding the baking powder, and then I'm going to start mixing it before I start the egg yolk. Like I said, I cut up my butter piece by piece just so when I'm mixing it, it could be a little bit easier for everything to come together. You can actually use your hands to get the butter all mixed in the flour. Sometimes I think it's best if you do that. If you just take the butter and use your hands, make sure you have clean hands, mix it in your flour. So now I'm adding the egg yolk. I'm gonna get that mix as well, and I'm going to add water little by little. Like I said, in my measuring cup I did have 2/3 cup of water, but I didn't use all of it. I used about half a cup, or just a little bit over half a cup. Sometimes it's better to have more water and not needing it than to not have enough. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get everything mixed together and let my mixer get the dough going for me. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can do this by hand easily. Also, this type of pastry is called pâte brisée. I believe the translation would be a shortcut pastry. It's kind of like if you were going to make a pie, but it's not exactly like a pie pastry, but almost. It's not quite a pie pastry, but in my language or in the French language it would be pâte brisée. So again guys, you just make sure you have that mixed, and then once that mixed together, we're going to let it sit in our refrigerator for a good 20 minutes. Again, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can easily use your hands to mix this together. It's just going to take a little bit longer to do. Now that it's done, I'm just going to put it in a Ziploc bag and let it rest in the fridge for a good 20 minutes. Be sure to add some flour to your Ziploc bag before you put your dough in, because you don't want it to get stuck to that Ziploc bag. So add a little bit of flour, and that will help the dough to not to stick to it. Again, you want to keep that in the refrigerator for a good 20 minutes. And while it's being refrigerated, that would be the best time to get the meat prepared that you want to add. I've already prepared the meat, and I will put a link in the description box. Sorry, I will put a link in the description box for you guys if you did not see that video, so you can see it. So what I'm going to be using next is my rolling pin, my dough cutter or pizza cutter, and some Laughing Cow cheese, or if you have cream cheese, that will work too, because now we're going to get ready to roll out our dough and start with the next process. Alright guys, so add some flour to your hands and a little bit on your dough, and you want to make sure your surface have some too. I'm just going to work the dough a little bit, and then we're going to roll our dough out. When we roll our dough, we want to roll it into a rectangular shape, or just roll it out and then we'll cut it into a rectangular shape. You know, I just like to warn you guys, I'm not the best when it comes to stuff like that, so please bear with me. If you're new to my channel, yeah, I'm not that great when it comes to decorating or shaping or any of those things. I typically stay in my lane, which is why I don't really give a lot of baking videos, but I'm kind of trying to get out my shell and share more recipes with you guys, so just bear with me on that. So yeah, now that I have my dough rolled out nicely, we're going to be shaping it and cutting it next. Alright, so I had my husband trace for me behind the camera, and now I'm just going to cut where he already marked for me, so that way I don't mess this up. So go ahead and do the same and just cut it into a nice rectangular shape, And what we're going to do after that is we're going to mark it again, and then we're going to cut each side evenly, add our little cheese, the chicken in the middle, and then we're going to braid it. Okay, so now that's done, you're going to be marking it again, kind of like how we did when we were cutting it, except this time you're not going to cut where you mark. You just marking it so we can have the sides to braid the dough with. As you can see right here, I have my marking. This is how you want to do it. As you can see, it just follows the same line as the rectangle. Now the next step, we're going to cut each side evenly. We're not cutting the dough to detach, we're simply making cut marks, so that way when we're getting ready to braid the dough, we can have even sides to braid with. So that's all I'm doing right here. You're gonna either use a knife or you could use a pizza cutter like you see me do here. You simply cutting it to the end, but you're not cutting the part that is attached to the dough. I hope that makes sense. It's not that complicated. It's very easy. For me, I ended up having 10 of those, so I'm going to make those same 10 marks on the other side as well. Yours will possibly not be 10, it might be more or it might be less. As long as both sides are even, then you're on the right track. Alright, it should look like this when it's done. So go ahead and grab your Laughing Cow cheese. If you don't have Laughing Cow cheese, cream cheese work as well. If you don't have that, you can simply add some shredded cheese to the middle and that will be fine as well. So I'm using a butter knife to put all that cream cheese in the middle. It also elevates the flavor. It makes it taste really, 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 really good. So that's what we're doing now. And then we'll be adding our chicken in the middle next. So now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and add our meat in the middle. Now I'm using chicken. You don't have to use chicken like me. You can use vegetables on here as well. Like you can saute some vegetables and add in the middle. If you want to use ground beef, you can. If you want to use ham, you can. Whatever meat you want, you can use that. I'm using chicken and I'm going to add it in the middle. Like I said, be as generous as you want. As long as you made your sides thick enough for the braiding part, then you should be good to go. So I'm going to be adding that chicken in, like I said, making sure it is nice and neat. And then after that, you're gonna go ahead and do the braiding part. Again, if you don't know how I prepared that chicken, I will have it on the little icon where you can click on the screen, or you can check on the description box where I will have it for you. That will take you straight to the video and you can see how I prepared the chicken that I'm going to put in the middle. It's the same type of chicken I would put on a patty or or mac and cheese or anything that I would do with it. Now to braid it, we're going to take one side and we're going to overlap it, and that's all we're going to do. Take your time, you don't have to rush. Just take your sides and overlap each of them as if you're braiding a braid. And that's pretty much it to it, guys. It's really not that hard. It's very simple to make. So yeah, you just want to take each side, like I said, and crisscross them, overlap them together. Again, this is not a dish that you would typically see growing up in a Haitian household. You would normally see this at a wedding or at a party or, any kind of fancy event. That's mostly where you would see this at. This is something you also would learn in culinary school. It's not a home dish that you would have. But since today, October 2nd, is my birthday, I just wanted to have a little something for me and my family and a few friends to enjoy this with, guys. So that's the purpose. I said, you know what, let me film it and share it with you guys. And I hope that you do go ahead and give this a try and try it out. And if you do, you can actually, if you're planning your wedding, hey, there go an idea for you to serve as an appetizer. Now that we're done doing that, I'm taking a lemon. I have my egg yolk here that we're going to put on top. Now the reason why I'm using the lemon is so it could have a nice scent to it. I don't like how eggs smell sometimes, and I see that the lemon helps to mask the scent in a way. So that's what we're doing. And now I'm just simply taking my brush and I'm going to brush the egg over by Tresse Royale. As you can see, I have a little one back there. I ended up using the rest of the dough to make another one. So yeah, that's what you want to do. Again, you want to take an egg and just use the yolk. If you want, you can do the little lemon so it won't have that scent. But if that doesn't bother you, you can skip the lemon and just put the yolk over your pastry, and we're going to add it in the oven. Now for the oven, I had it set at 350 degrees, and this took a good 40 to 45 minutes to cook. But it's really, really good, guys. Again, it's not that hard to make. When it comes to baking, it's a lot of steps involved. It's a little tedious and you have a lot of cleaning. But if you're patient and you want to try it, I definitely urge you to do so. And then come back and let me know what you think. And share with a friend. If you know a friend that likes to bake or that likes to cook, share that with them, and so they can have another recipe to try. And I'll really appreciate it. Alright, so now I'm just doing the same thing with the little one. Again, when you're doing this, you want to be generous enough with the egg yolk so that way when it bakes, it can come out looking nicely golden. And this is what it looks like when you're done. I'm going to go ahead and add it in my oven, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. This is it, guys. This is the finished product. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you try out this recipe and come back. Like I said, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Let it cool down before you cut into it. This is me cutting into it now so you can see what it looks like. Again, guys, I can't say enough about this dish. It is absolutely delicious. I really, really hope you enjoy this video. If you did, as always, give me a thumbs up, share with a friend, and come back for more videos. I enjoyed this with a dipping sauce that I made myself. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!